welcome to the Wrestling Soup and Tooney Talk Wrestling, Tooney Town Wrestling crossover dual cast SummerSlam post show. That's a mouthful. And much love to everybody showing up live on the YouTube. Much love to all the people on the Discord at the current time as well. To start it off real quick, 3 hours of pre-show, gentlemen. Did any of you guys sit around for the full 3 hours of pre-show?
Fuck no.
Absolutely not. Under zero circumstances would I have done
Let me tell you something, Mitch. Even at 56 years old, I could find something else to do.
I had
to watch an hour of it live, but Kevin
I had
Apollo,
this thing called The Life I had to get to earlier today.
Lying is not cool.
I had this life I had to do. I had some chores, some laundry.
No, it's horrible.
There wasn't really much going on.
I have had it on since 4 o'clock.
Yeah. No, that's about. I jumped in at like 3:37. Like I already missed the first half hour. Not too much really happened during the pre-show. I think there was like a random Dominic interview, and there was some new Damian Priest like documentary build-up footage and stuff, which was nice.
Well, they had the Punk interview, right? You guys see the Punk interview?
Yeah, they had Punk.
Yeah, saw that. I did watch it actually.
They had the top 10 SummerSlam moments of all time, and they rated Becky Lynch's return as number 2.
Yes. Yeah, they did.
Which I thought was really weird. I did not like that at all.
They did put Shane McMahon versus Steve Blackman on that list too. Which
did they really?
Yeah, they did.
For who?
Come back to me, Shane. Come back, Shane.
Hey, I like Steve Blackman.
That was Shane's first giant fall. That's why.
Yeah, maybe that's a love letter to Steve Blackman. Maybe
within the last couple of years, I actually looked on what was then the WWE Network to see if there was a Steve Blackman like compilation playlist, just because I was like, I really wanted to watch some Steve Blackman matches, but alas, no. There is not. Wow. No, nobody took the time out of their workday to construct that.
It's funny. You seem to get punished when you're alive and well, like Steve Blackman. He survived, looks good, has a family in his own, and he gets punished for it. I don't know what that's about.
Did I hear that he went the bounty hunter route, much like our friend Dr. Dave Schultz?
Yeah, he just retired from it. He was a bounty hunter in Pennsylvania. I know somebody who lives near him in Pennsylvania, and he's doing fine. He very rarely gets asked to come back to WWE. He does conventions every now and then. He looks exactly the same, just all gray now.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
I
feel like being gray for Steve Black. I feel like Steve Blackman being gray would look more badass than regular Steve Blackman.
He does. He looks like a human GI Joe figure.
Does he have like gray along the sides, like the stripes?
Yeah, he's got all his hair. He's a good-looking dude. He looked like kind of like the way Al Perez aged. These guys just aged very well, took care of themselves, and for some reason they get disregarded by the business. I don't know why.
I love when they were talking about the brawl for it all, and Steve Blackman. They're like anything goes, and Steve Blackman raises his hand. He's like, "So anything goes," and Vince was like, "Ah!" Like he hadn't considered that.
Yeah, no, it was a good time. What was that 25 years ago? I mean, it was a long time ago.
Wow.
They did.
I mean, if you're a bail jumper and Steve Blackman comes after you, that's got to be the equivalent of like Boba Fett coming after you in the Star Wars universe, like before Disney. Back when that was so cool.
I think Blackman's better at it because unlike Dr. D, he's not a racist. So
one of the other things that did happen as a surprise too is we had X-Pac on the panel. Him kind of coming out there. Kind of a hard showing for him. A lot of stammering. He just didn't
Yeah.
X-Pac hasn't been on since he kept telling the truth when he was on the when he was on the bump.
Oh God.
He kept crapping all over terrible gimmicks. And they're like, no.
Well, let's hope he do a bump earlier in the day. That's all. Holy
I was just
shit.
about to say it wasn't the only bump he did that day, but
he looked good though. I will say that he looked healthy. He didn't look like he may have looked back in the day. He looked healthy.
Makeup will do that.
Oh, he was still very uncomfortable though, John. You could actually hear it in his voice.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
They didn't. If you guys noticed, they didn't have him back. He was in the one segment, and then that radio guy filled his seat when they came back. He wasn't there.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe he was all cracked out after one segment. I don't know.
get him out.
He likes to grow his recreational activity.
He was all cracked out.
What was his 90s catchphrase? Your ass is grass and I'm gonna smoke it.
Yeah.
I thought it was not the gooch. Please, not the gooch.
Yes.
Well, my favorite was him on when he was on the Surreal Life and the season with China was on there, and he's like just banging on the door outside the house, going Jody, like it's the street cod named China.
Good
You
times,
know what's crazy too is that he banged like steel jaw China. He didn't bang like post-surgery China. He banged like the ugliest version of China that there ever was. Can you still say
his wife? Can you still
he
say
left his family? He left his family for steel jaw China. Like it's a bold statement.
One night in China. I'm proud to say I never watched that.
The ugliest version of China.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, like it's one thing to leave your family for somebody. It's something to leave them when they're at their ugliest.
I fully believe that when Triple H met her at a bar one night, he was like, "Wow, I've learned something new about myself tonight. I guess this is where my life is going." And then he got a pants down and he was like, "Oh, okay, thank God."
No, I think.
Are you sure about that? We've all seen it.
I've not seen it. I'm proud to say that I have never watched One Night.
Hey, Marvin, want to do a watch along?
No. No, I'm. Oh, no, they're doing the they're doing the press conference right now. Nia Jax is out with Tiffy. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure there's not too much.
I thought Tiffany was going to hit her with the Money in the Bank briefcase, and they were going to ring the bell, and then she's going to get the belt.
Yeah, it's not like these are AEW scrums where somebody's inevitably going to say something stupid.
That Brandon Thurston guy got John Cena last time. With that Vince McMahon question, which
oh my God, are they still letting him into these things? Is he not banned yet?
It's incredible. It's like, dummy, this isn't about, you're not Walter Cronkite. You're not getting the grand exclusive answer, you dope.
Right. Right. He thinks that he's going to be able to get something that Howard Stern couldn't get out of John Cena. So,
well, no, the thing is, he knew he wasn't going to get anything, but he knew that it would make headlines the next day that he asked John.
Yeah,
that he made John Cena uncomfortable.
But anyways, let's go to it. SummerSlam begins. 57,791 people at the Cleveland Browns Stadium. We open up the evening, which I was actually surprised it opened. I thought, like a lot of people, the IC match was going to open. But we open up with Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley with Dirty Dominic Mysterio for the Women's World Championship. Marvin, what were your first thoughts, bud?
I thought the match opened really hot. I was a big fan of the story that was being told. I thought the Rhea Ripley separating her shoulder thing was really well done.
Yeah.
And the pop that she got when she popped it back in was incredible. I thought that was great.
What were your thoughts there, John?
I was impressed with the reaction. I mean, the crowd was very hot. They were very, very into it. They reacted accordingly to everything. I just felt like, honestly, the match was entirely too long, and Liv got entirely too much offense. It should have been more chicken shit heel stuff. Like the competitiveness between the two of them is ridiculous.
I was okay with it. I was okay with it because it was only when the shoulder got separated that Liv started getting offense on her, and
she got some big moves on her though.
Liv versus a one-armed Rhea Ripley. I think that was more believable than her just going toe-to-toe with her.
What do you think, Awful?
Good match. Sorry, stuff in my face. But I thought it was a good opener, and it was well received. I thought it did what it needed to do. Carry on the storyline.
Kevin Apollo?
It was a fun match. I have been waiting for years for a lethal weapon shoulder spot. I finally got it. I thought they told a hell of a story. I'm a little disappointed that they turned Dom. I just didn't think it was necessary.
Really?
But it'll be interesting to see where we go with it. The two people, the original team to stop the bloodline. I mean, to stop the Judgment Day, apparently are all now together.
Yeah,
and they are the Judgment Day.
Yeah, there was some big changes that happened with that. Kevin Castle.
My first thoughts, speaking for all men, are both girls got really great asses.
Yes.
They really do.
Yeah,
if I might just be a hetero male for a little while. Yeah, no, I liked the match. I thought, yeah, I agree with my brother. It was good crowd reaction. Opening matches they usually do, or the crowd kind of saves themselves and they kind of, wait and see if this is worth our vocalization. But they gave him good reaction. I thought that Dom was going to turn, and he hasn't given the reason yet, but I really feel this way, that when he gets the mic, once they stop booing him out of the building, that he says what I talked about with you the other day, Mish. Liv makes me feel like a man, and Rhea made me feel like a bitch boy. And I think he's actually literally going to say that. He's going to say he feels like a man with Liv, and that's going to be the excuse, which gets Dom out of that cuck kind of gimmick and beefs up his character a little bit more manly. I believe that's what he's going to say. He's not going to probably say bitch boy, but he's going to say Rhea made him feel like a man. That's why he chose her over Rhea. Liv,
it felt like too when he was walking up that ramp. Maybe you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but he kind of gave that shrug, like a "sucks to be you, lady" kind of look, and then he started flipping off the crowd everywhere.
And I thought it was when what's his name called him a piece of shit.
Oh, Pat was great. I love that. Pat,
did you hear Pat say that? And that's a shoot.
Yeah.
You know what? I missed that. I missed that live. I saw somebody mention it in the chat. Yeah. Oh my God, that's insane.
No. Pat reached in deep with that one because it was funny too. Because Pat just kept saying, "What a piece of trash! What a piece of trash!" And then Michael Cole is like, "Just go ahead and say it." And he's like, "What a piece of shit!" And I'm like, "That was great." And you could tell that he felt that because Pat's really good as a color commentary guy too. Right. But it was.
I feel like every time he steps over the line, Tripp's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "What are you gonna do? Fire me?"
The big thing is, I'm wondering if Dom comes out Monday without the mustache because it smelled a lot like Rhea, and Liv was like, "I made him smell it." I don't want to smell it.
You don't think those are bare floors down there, John?
I'm telling you, I think he comes out without the mustache. Like, now I can get rid of this stupid mustache. I think that'd be a good angle.
I think my brother might be right in a way. I think Dom might change his look a little bit.
Maybe he'll change his look. But now I can finally be me. I can stop getting pegged.
I think so. Maybe even a haircut and changing the mustache. Don't be surprised. That's a good
watch. He comes out in like a suit, like with a good haircut.
I agree with that.
Nice.
I think that'll be cool.
Maybe he can be late '90s Eddie Guerrero instead of mid '90s Eddie Guerrero.
Joe was even bringing that up on Thursday too. He said, it wouldn't be surprising to see him start doing things that Liv wants him to do, like having very white dates, like going to her family's house and sitting around with his pinky up, and all of a sudden,
I
would love Dominic Mysterio goes to
Jersey.
Do
White Dom. They call him, instead of Dirty Dom, he becomes White Dom.
I think he should he should tap into the art bar gimmick really like Hardway.
White Dom. I like the White Dom gimmick.
He's gonna be Kerwin Dom.
He could show up on time. He could be polite. It would be interesting.
Oh my! No, he takes it to Seaside Heights in New Jersey on the boardwalk.
Yeah, she's like a Guido anyway, or she turns into a Guido.
She is.
His name's Dominic. How hard could it be to turn him into some dirty wop?
As far as the match, I really think Rhea Ripley did an amazing job hiding a lot of weaknesses that Liv Morgan had. I completely agree with both you and Kevin, John, when it came to the idea that she had way too much offense. I understand what you're saying, Marvin, that it only happened while she was injured. But still, even at that point, Liv is subpar at best. The whole point of this match was to watch Ripley lose her mind and kill Liv Morgan. I'm totally fine and happy with the result, the decision. I think the fact that Liv has it continues this feud even more. And obviously with what happened later on with Finn Balor, there's clearly more storyline and split up between the Judgment Day. The next match that we had on the card was Braun Breaker and Sami Zayn singles match for the IC Championship. John, what were your first thoughts?
I was curious to see the outcome of this because I was wondering, would they give it to the kid? You know what I mean? Like, Sammy's kind of hot right now. A lot of this is payback for all the water he carried the year before. But, look, bro, I hate the name Braun Breaker so much. It's really, it's like Mantar, like levels bad. I don't know why you would give like a kid like this, who's such a natural, has his pedigree of his family, and you give him this 80s cheesy name. The match was fine. I might be in the minority. I'm surprised they let him get it so quickly. That's all. I wouldn't have been mad if he lost and it was a good match. But they obviously have high expectations for the kid. Yeah. I have a feeling he drops the name soon and goes by Steiner.
Bronson
goes by his
Steiner.
real name. Yeah.
Braun Steiner. Yeah.
I want that. I want that badly from. But look, the two of them are great. Sammy did a great job. That dog was into it. Obviously, he just barked. Yeah, it was exciting, and the crowd really was into that match. They were into Sammy.
Awful. What are your thoughts, sir?
I'm glad that it happened the way it happened. I mean, listen, Braun Breaker needed that win, and I agree with John. Like the name is terrible. Scott Steiner needs to come out in like the next 2 weeks and just be like, end this shit. Your name is Bronson Steiner, and carry on from there.
I like that better, actually. Bronson Steiner.
Bronson's. Well, don't they have a Bronson?
So his Bronson. His reign name is Bronson.
Oh, yeah. Bronson Steiner sounds way better than fucking.
So much better.
Oh my God, Bronson Steiner, Jesus!
And the Steiners, I think maybe it was like, we don't know what Scott Steiner's going to say next. Like, maybe we can't call him a Steiner because you never know when Rick or Scott are going to lose their mind in public. But I don't know, they're behaving themselves lately. So
they were both there tonight. They were both at the match.
Yeah, they were there.
Yeah. It was his decision to drop it because he was supposed to debut as Braun Steiner, and then he changed his mind at the last second.
What did you think about the match, Paulo?
I liked it. I'm so sick of seeing Boo Boo Face Sammy on my screen. So that just removes his soft ass out of my field of view.
No, John JID 999 said that for $2. Said, I'm happy, sad Sammy didn't get his way and pouted.
Oh, what's up, John? John JLD. He's a good kid.
Man, I am the cheese that stands alone. I'm a big Sammy fan. I love Sammy's.
I like Sammy too.
Tenacity. He's the guy that you want to see get beat and rise up to the occasion and win. Totally happy with the idea of Braun winning. That's what had to happen. There was no other thought in my mind. Sammy needs to lose this because he's better in the hunt anyways. But Marvin, what were your thoughts on the whole match?
Before I give my thoughts, I just want to say Awful apparently has to head out for the night.
Okay.
Sure. Oh, that's awful.
So,
that is
awful. Thank you very much for joining us all night here tonight. You were an invaluable part of this, and I'm not saying that sarcastically.
Big shout out to Kev Castle and Jon Draper.
Thank you.
Thank you, Awful.
To you guys for years.
I'm very sorry. If I could do something to change that, I would. I'm sorry. What did you say?
No. This was quite
dude, let me just tell you, you ain't that awful. Thank you.
But peace, gentlemen. Peace, Kev.
All right, Awful. Have a go and be safe, man.
Peace.
Also, big thank you to Sean Kenta for $5 super chat. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Helps out the show so much. Excuse me. If you could tell,
I don't think $5 is going to help with that cough. I got to be honest.
Probably not.
That'll buy you a small bottle of Robitussin, buddy.
Oof. Hold on. Sloan Kettering is on the other line. Hold on.
I thought this match started out hot. I thought Braun looked like $1 million in it. I thought Sammy gave him a lot. I think that I like that Braun beat him clean. I think what I said was as clean as a nun's bed sheets. I thought it was exactly what needed to happen. I think it would have meant more a month ago without having Sammy beat him. Because like Apollo said, I'm tired of soft, sad Sami Zayn. We had to get the belt off Sammy because he's clearly going to be a part of the Bloodline Civil War coming up. So this was the right time to do this. I don't know. I still think it was nonsensical last month to have Braun lose to Sammy.
Yeah.
But this match, I think, made up for it, closed that chapter of the story, and now I think you're going to have Braun do with the IC title what Gunther did with it, and really just kind of elevate it.
Well, let me ask you guys a question. No one's going to really, honestly, like you mentioned that they should have been done. They should have done this a month ago. No one's going to think about that ever again now, right? All they're going to think about is on the bigger stage of the bigger card, Braun beat Sammy, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, but I agree with you. I felt like but I honestly, guys, I just didn't see them pulling the trigger. There was something about it. I was like, kid's not going to win. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be near falls. He's going to pound Sammy's face in, but they love to do that to Sammy. Let him get beat up. You think he's losing, and then he pulls it out with his schmear body, and then fucking everybody, is happy.
It was my favorite. By the way, schmear body is my new favorite way to describe Sami Zayn. Maybe my favorite Frankensteiner that Braun has done to date. I mean, that was a really good top rope Frankensteiner.
Quick rewind though to the beginning of the show. Did any of you guys see the what was his name? Top shelf, extra shelf, second fridge opening up with the national anthem, and then his song
Jelly Roll.
Jelly roll?
Jelly Roll. Right.
Like what
Well,
is
no,
this jelly roll thing? Why are people like? It's so strange.
And I was really
You-
surprised
you're
they
missing-
announced them at 330
This was like the night
pounds.
of bad white people decisions. Like you had Jelly Roll, you had one of the Pauls, and they had
Tommy Lee's
MGK.
Tommy Lee's
Yeah.
kid.
This was
Machine Gun
like
Kelly,
white meth night, like in Ohio. Like
I'm
what
shocked.
the
Yeah,
fuck,
I was
dude?
shocked. I was shocked when Kevin Spacey never made the run in at the end. Of the
Like
show.
seriously, like who else is going to
I
come
would've-
out? Like
I
what?
would've- I
What other
actually
terrible white person is going to come out tonight?
I would have enjoyed
Well,
that.
speaking. Well, but we missed the fact that the first person you saw once SummerSlam started was, "Oh, come on, guys! It's not about me. It's about the performers. But are you ready?"
It's like bad honkies night in Ohio.
Oh my god. Yeah, no,
I thought every night was bad honkies night. No,
Ohio, yeah.
horrible though. Like the audience clearly didn't care. It's like this is his home area, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you wouldn't be
And
there
it's-
otherwise.
Man, people were dry. They were
You know what, Mitch? That guy is overexposed. Like
Yeah,
he's
he
like
is.
the white trash. If you need a white trash guy to walk out and do a walk on, he's the guy right now.
He's
Like he's a white trash walk on of any like mainstream show, Tonight Show, rapper. Like, oh, we got a fat white guy here tonight. Like, woo!
I'm
And he
surprised we
comes
didn't
out.
have the Hawk 2 girl on tonight.
Yeah, they couldn't get it. Couldn't
You know what?
afford
I
Hawk
saw
Tuah,
him.
girl.
I saw him, and believe it or not, I was not familiar with the stylings of Jelly Roll. So I had to ask who he was. I assumed he was some kind of rapper, right? With the face tattoos. They were like, "Oh, country music singer." I was like, "What?"
He reminds me of the guy like Uncle Cracker or somebody like that, like one of those dudes. Like,
They
he
wanted
reminds-
Hawk Tuah. They couldn't afford her, so they got Jelly Roll instead.
Let me just say
He
She was
about
looked
actually
like-
booked up, John. She was at another couple of different fairs.
So she's AEW bound, man.
But
He looked like a lava that fell off the back of Haystack's Calhoun and then fell on hard times.
he actually looks like Haystacks Calhoun. He actually
Well, the
does.
funny thing is, too, is throughout the night they kept peppering it in that, oh my God, this guy's so big, he should be a wrestler. And then they even made jokes, even during the pre-show, saying, oh, he should be in the Royal Rumble.
No one
Who's
could
going to throw him
Yeah,
out?
yeah, yeah.
So I
Oh,
would
wow.
not be surprised if this
He's
guy-
no Bad Bunny. I'll tell you that right now.
No, absolutely not.
They
No
might put
Bad
him in
Bunny.
the Royal Rumble to see who knocks him out.
I'll
though.
tell you what, if Big Show were still there, that is a match that would happen.
You think it's a big show for
You don't
Jelly
think they would do
Roll?
something like that with Otis?
Otis
Big
and
Show-
Jelly Roll. That'd be like Otis could sing backup on one of his songs. Like that would have to do that.
Big Show was always the guy that they put in there with every like weird
Oh, yeah.
celebrity that they
Yeah,
had
'cause
to,
he was
they
Aki
had to throw in
Bono
there.
and Mayweather.
Yeah.
Aki
Did
Bono,
someone
yeah.
say he was billed at 3:30?
No,
He
I
might
thought
be.
that's a running joke. They bill every heavy guy at 3:30. No one is
3:30.
more than 3. Everybody's 3:30.
No, that's what time the show started. That's actually you guys got that wrong. Started
But
3:30
Can
Central.
I
Eastern
just
time.
mention quick about the Braun Breaker thing? What what Marvin said is true. That we're forgetting. We're only 3 months away from November, less, and Civil Wars. They have to build this up, and Reigns has to make amends with Sammy and the Usos and stuff to get them on board. Heyman will play a big role in that. So they had to get the belt off of Sammy, the Intercontinental. Focus on the tag team. And if you notice, both sets of tag team champions are Bloodline 1, Bloodline 2.
Mhm.
So so Sammy's he's going to be shifted into this Bloodline thing, and now with the return of Reigns, which is really happened tonight. It's no more rumor; it's fact.
Right.
We're going
Absolutely.
into
Hey, but John JID 999 checked in with $2. Says Jelly Roll's last album is pretty good. He's popular. So there
He's
you go.
very popular.
Yeah, he is
He's
popular.
huge.
We're not-
He's a
yeah,
superstar.
he's a
He's a
star.
big guy,
Right.
physically and in popularity.
next match that we had up on the card was Logan Paul with Machine Gun Kelly out of nowhere.
Oh, God. Here we go.
versus Louisiana
honkies.
Knights in a singles match for the WWE United States Championship. Marvin, what were your thoughts on this, bud?
My first thought was when Machine Gun Kelly came out, and believe it or not, guys, I was not familiar before tonight with the stylings of Machine Gun Kelly.
Really?
So it had to be explained to me who this little beanpole was, and it's just I wish we can get through one match without Logan Paul having to bring out one of his douchebag friends. But I thought this match was a little sloppy. I thought I liked it though up until the finish when LA Knight took the glancing blow from the Nux and then just promptly no-sold it and hit the finish, then popped up and had the big triumphant moment without even holding on to his head. I thought it just killed the concept of the Nux, which doesn't just kill it for like Logan Paul. It kills it for guys like William Regal, who made that a gimmick for so long. Logan Paul is better than he had it was his 15th wrestling match.
Yeah.
and he killed it out there again. And I think that Logan Paul is only going to get better with age. Like the more matches he has, the better he seems to get, the more comfortable he appears in there. We have not seen a guy be this comfortable this fast since Kurt Angle, and he wrestles a lot less often than Kurt Angle.
Right.
So yeah, I thought it was good, but the finish kind of killed it for me.
Kevin Castle, what'd you think of it?
I'm really tired of Logan Paul and his douchebag friends. I'm really kind of sick of that whole crew. Like every time there's plug in his stupid drink, which is going to probably wind up giving a lot of people heart attacks in the next 2 years. I'm done with him. I'm not a LA Knight fan, but I knew that at 41, they have to pull the trigger on him now. I mean, what are they waiting for? What does he have to prove? He's been over, even with a D push, he's still over. I'm not a big fan, but he gets a big reaction. He's probably top 5 as far as reaction go. His age, this stage, you put the gold on him now. It's his first belt that he's had in the 3 or 4 years he's been in this company between NXT and the main roster, and it was the way to go. I mean, there was no other way. If he lost tonight and got pinned, I would be convinced that Triple H just doesn't believe in him. But since I saw Triple H take a big photo op with him after and saying it's well-deserved, I guess he does. And it'll be good because LA Knight can headline smaller cards and, they can bring him to towns. He's over. He can be on the TV shows. He's charming. He's talkative. He looks good with the belt. It's a good PR move to have another babyface champion. It was the right way to go.
Kevin Apollo, what'd you think, sir?
I was a little worried. It's the LA Knight getting a singles title. It has been long overdue. They did him a disservice by having him in that world title match in Saudi last year, because we all knew he wasn't going to beat Roman,
right? And
it didn't do anything for him. And although he had a bunch of momentum, it slowed him down. And then The Rock came back. Right. And occupied that lane that LA Knight was driving in. So, but he persevered. He got through it. Everybody's behind this guy. And again, at 41, I know like Vince turned age into a big thing, but the reality of it is when you look at most of the great champions, unless they were hot right out the box, usually it's around 36 when you get your first title run, because you have had enough time to figure it out. You've seen everything. You know how to put it together. It's Triple H seems to be a lot more willing to let older guys go out there and do their thing. So I think we have only seen we're only in the third round of whatever LA Knight's going to be doing. Right. I think this is a guy who can and will be a world champion. That said, I think Logan Paul will be a world champion within the next 2 years.
Wow.
He is to me, he's the second coming of RVD. He is a freak athlete who can do freak athletic things. He only gets better every time he wrestles. And yeah, sure, fine. He loves to put his douchebag friends on TV, but those douchebag friends bring thousands upon thousands of new viewers to WWE TV every time they pop up, which is why WWE lets him do what he does. Logan Paul is very similar to I'll put it like so. To not to get political, but when you look at certain people with celebrity, usually the celebrity is created by the media. There's a very few who are famous because they create media. Yeah. The Rock has gotten to the point where wherever he is, he creates media.
But Apollo, when you say that, I just want to cut you off real quick for a second. When you say that he reminds you of RVD, that this is going to be a guy that goes into the world heavyweight scene, don't you think that his career is so outside of WWE that this is just something he's doing for now until he gets busy or bored or whatever happens with his ADHD brain and he goes somewhere else?
I think he likes it. I think this started as something just to do, but the fact that he keeps coming back and whenever he has a run, he stays a little bit longer. So all they have to do is, and I've seen 1,000 people. Dutch Mantel had an excellent, did an excellent thing on his on Paul. But if they can find a way to get him to say, "Hey, just give us a good year,"
right?
This is a guy who is going to be a major star for them. And again, he just pops in and out, and whenever he does, it creates a lot of attention. He's got a lot of drawing power. So it's we've only really kind of seen the tip of the iceberg for what this guy can do. Like I said, it was long overdue for LA Knight. I'm glad they finally did it. If someone was gonna not get it tonight, I was like, it's gonna be LA Knight for whatever reason. I hope they don't decide to make this guy wait, because you've got to get. He's hot, but it's time to turn up the heat and let this guy cook a little bit. Other than that, it was an action-packed match. It needed to be what it was. It was a fight. It was exciting. This wasn't going to be a Benoit versus Malenko. It wasn't supposed to be, and it shouldn't have been. My only grievance is just the nut shot to the temple. Yes, you're fine. It was a short jab, and he sold it until he popped up. But usually, whenever you see Nux, if the Nux make contact, it's a wrap. And I wish they would have done that last spot just a little different. But other than that, shit happens. It was still an excellent match, very exciting. So it got done when it needed to get done.
John, what did you think of the match, sir?
I didn't. Logan Paul is penis cancer, like as a human being, like he just is. As a human being,
absolutely, yes.
He's penis cancer. Him and his brother are penis cancer. But there's nothing you could really say about his short stint and the quality of the in-ring shit that he does, because he's a natural. He's a natural athlete, like Kev Paulo said. LA Knight, this was funny like 9 months ago, like the let me talk to you stuff. It just feels like it's a little late. Yeah. I feel like this was too little, too late. Yeah, I feel like he was hot pre-made. I mean, this was already said earlier, but he was hot. He was hot like almost a year ago, and then going into they kind of slowed his push down. The crowd, he's the new Zack Ryder, right? That's really what this is. This is a Zack Ryder kind of push, organic,
fair,
from a catchphrase. Logan Paul's a part-timer though. The guy does 50 other things. If he stopped tomorrow doing wrestling, his life would not be very impacted. He has 100 other things. I don't know if you could give him more, if WWE could give him more than they give him, because he's not a full-time guy. That being said, I don't know what happens to the guy now. He probably disappears. He's probably got other ventures. They're paying to put his drink in the ring and all that other
Tyson
stuff
too.
Yeah, well, no, his brother. That's his brother. His brother's
no, I know, but he's kind of a part of that too. He's been
and he's involved in his brother's tomfoolery and all that stuff. Okay, I feel like this might be a little like consolation prize for LA Knight. He's kind of on the tail end of that push. I feel
let me ask you this. I mean, WWE fans are very habitual. I mean, we heard the Seth Rollins singing for much longer than we should have, and there's a lot of chanting that goes on for as far as the wrestling fan base goes. When you look at a guy like LA Knight, who is literally catchphrase after catchphrase after catchphrase, don't you think a guy like that can be reheated up and made into something special? Don't you think?
Mitch, it depends on who his first feuds, who they gonna feed him to make him look big like a champ now. That's what I want to see. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like who they gonna give him? He's got to win a big feud decisively over somebody that I thought maybe he might lose the belt to him. Otherwise, it's just a consolation for it's Zack Ryder. It's woo woo woo. You know what I mean?
Well, it's what if you remember Logan Paul's diss of him in the ring was kind of real. Name a few match that you've had that you've done something monumental in this business in 20 years. What have you name it? What was the match? What was the feud? What was the thing that put you on the map besides a catchphrase? Austin, when he was coming up, the Bret Hart feud, that's what got him rolling. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you have to have some kind of, my brother's right, you have to have some kind of feud that really gets you to that next thing where they're like, oh, that was bad. That was crazy. LA Knight hasn't had that kind of thing. He doesn't have that kind of adversarial thing. It's kind of like he bounces from guy to guy to guy. Like he has some thing in the back with somebody, then I'll meet you in the ring. It's like there's no real classic LA Knight match you can name, including going back to NXT. I'm thinking about it. I watch NXT.
Yeah, I don't remember any big.
I'm trying to think. Let me think.
None.
I can't think of any.
Drive's $1 million belt feud was kind of the big thing, and then you got to remember everything got blown up because Vince took over and destroyed it all.
Right. One of the things that was kind of brought up in the chat, they were saying that Michael Cole almost got in trouble and messed up because he called MGK MJF. And I guess
did he really?
Yeah, I heard that.
Graves and
Wow.
Pat apparently corrected him before he got it all the way through.
Oh my God!
In the headphones.
And now they,
From
and now,
MJF.
and now Michael Cole is suspended as long as Britt Baker.
Yeah.
And still nothing's going to happen to MJF, just like in real life.
Nah,
LA Knight's in a different category than Zack Ryder was. Zack Ryder was always a jobber character. Vince never took him seriously, saw him as soft. LA Knight, especially for Hunter, he's kind of like a throwback. He's a throwback character, which is why people responded very well to him. It's just a matter of timing. Like, that roster is so stacked, and everything has been so bloodline centric. You can't get everybody everywhere all the time.
Yeah, you get lost in the shuffle. Yeah,
but I think WWE overall is doing a much better job of trying to elevate these guys that would just be normally jobber status into something special. Like, we've been waiting for Louisiana Knight here to get this moment for a very long time, and I know there's a lot of fans that have completely just blanked out on the guy. So I think that tonight was actually really important, because even though he hasn't had that feud, like John and Kevin were just saying that he hasn't had that Austin Brett feud yet, I think him getting the title and being put in this way and the fans behind him kind of elevates him, not just from the company standpoint of being a jobber guy, but maybe to the fans too. Maybe it validates him a little bit having the title.
Well, we always say about LA Knight, and this is where I kind of think it went wrong for him. Kevin and I have always called him the world's greatest Attitude Era cover band. He's kind of doing a Rock impression. And when The Rock came back around WrestleMania, it's like, okay, well, we already have The Rock. We don't need The Rock that we ordered off of Wish.com.
Well, he's the son of Austin and Rock.
Fair enough.
They do the fusion dance, and you get LA Knight. But again, when the machine wants you hot, the machine can get you hot.
Yes.
And I think
Kevin, I still want to see a big feud. I want to see him, in a big feud with somebody good. You know what I mean? That he decisively gets himself over as a champion now. Now it's not a catchphrase. Now he's got a belt. He's got the secondary title. He's got it.
I'm also kind of confused. I think he should be on Raw and not SmackDown.
Well, I've always loved when Brock and Roman had the world title, and they weren't on every Supercard, and so you kind of took the IC title and the US title, and it almost kind of worked like the North American title in like a Mid-South, where that was the primary title that was main eventing these shows until the world champion blew into town.
Well, Kevin, speaking of the machine getting everybody hot, Nia Jax versus Bayley. Singles match for the women's championship. What are your thoughts, man?
Before we get into this one, Mitch, I have like 3 super chats to get through.
Go ahead.
Colin Taylor for $20 says Logan Paul isn't cancer. He's the afterbirth from cancer's one night stand with SARS.
Penis cancer. He left out the penis. The guy left the joke out. But thank you for this.
No, it's okay. Joe Punches for $2 says I'm here for the penis cancer. Sup, fellas?
Penis cancer. He's penis cancer. I love Joe Punches.
And Theme Park and Things with Johnny for $4.99 says totally off subject. I thought it was really cool at work during the Cody Rhodes match we got an order for a Cody R. So there you go.
There you go.
I doubt it was him. So sorry, Mish. You may proceed.
I wanted to know, did Nia get the machine running, Kevin?
Yeah, I think
it's a big machine.
Oh yeah, that's a big.
It's a big machine, Mish. It's a big machine.
She's got a pointy hat too. If you didn't notice, she's wearing that pointy hat now.
It's a big machine.
Like a.
She's not Mish. She's not like most girls. I don't know if you know that.
Well, what were they saying, that she looked like the XXL version of the Statue of Liberty out there tonight?
She's not like most girls. That's all I know.
No,
that's what I heard. Hey, that's what I heard.
Yo.
In my experience, she is like most girls.
She's not like most girls.
Not in Chicago.
Like most girls who like wrestling.
She is like most girls who like wrestling.
She shops at Torrid. We don't gotta make it too hard on her.
Points to you for knowing what Torrid is, sir.
Affectionately known as Fat Topic.
Well, what'd you think of the match? Bayley came out there. I was actually genuinely impressed. The fans were so giving. I did not think Bayley deserved half the adulation she got in her match. They were so in love with her. I didn't get it.
They were.
But
Yeah.
I was surprised that she got what she did. I'm dead serious.
Really?
We're all in the same spot with Bailey. We all just kind of feel bad for her because she had her Mania moment, and oh my God, did it go cold fast. It's as soon as we were done with that triple threat, they're like, go smile and walk around with the belt. Right. Because clearly, establishing Tiffy time is a little more important than the champion. So, but it was a solid match. There was nothing to write home to mom about.
Come on, Apollo. I think it was you actually that made the commentary during the watch along that Nia Jax spent the majority of her match smashing her ass in Bailey's face.
I think I made that point.
It's a big ass.
That's a big ass.
It's a big ass. You get hit with that, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna see some stars. See some Milky Ways.
I explained the psychology behind it.
It's a big ass. What do you want me to tell you?
She's using her weight to weigh and grind Bailey down.
Yeah, so that's what she said.
Yeah.
I thought she was trying to make it tap out because remember when Viscera used to just like get on the guy and hump him, and like I remember someone being like, "What the heck is that?" I said, "Wouldn't you tap?"
Yeah, that's a little different.
I don't know. It bothered me because she's capable of doing a lot more. Big people obviously can do more than just drop their fat on you. But I think it was at least 4 or 5 incidences that Bailey was in a corner, and here comes Nia ass first.
Yeah. She had a lot of ass tonight. She had a lot of ass, Bailey. A lot of ass eating.
What did you think of the match, John?
Bailey. Listen, Bailey is treated like a star in a lot of the venues and countries, and Bailey is considered an A-lister for the women's division. She's been there a while now. She's had some different variations of characters. She's kind of had a resurgence, since Mania, since she won the belt at Mania. But yeah, I agree with you. I'm impressed with the reaction to Bailey in 2024 without the pigtails and the hug shit, which was her apex moment. I don't know what you do with Bailey now. This is the thing. Nia could fall into a bloodline storyline in 2 seconds with a belt now, which I think would be a good way to go. They should try to push bloodline shit into the women's division. I don't know. I
haven't seen it forever.
I really do. I'm not wishing it. I'm just saying it makes a business sense. Mm-hmm. It's a relative story now, right? It has all the things there. I'm just curious what happens to Bailey now. Like, what do you do with Bailey now?
I don't know. Kev, you got any ideas of what we should do with Bailey?
Yeah, it's called released. No. I want to get rid of all these horsewomen. When Charlotte actually comes to work again, when Charlotte graces us with her presence, I just want this horsewomen thing dead. I like the new generation, Roxanne Perez, Tiffy, all these other people that they have now coming through. Bianca Belair, I think, is underutilized. She should be the leader of this new generation at 35. She, as other Kevin here was saying before, people hit their stride about 36. Bianca's at that cusp. I think she should be more emphasized and not be bogged down with Jade Cargill, dead weight. Yeah, Bianca, Bailey, I don't know, man. Listen, they had to give it to Nia. I thought they were going to give it to Nia. Everybody told me I was wrong. I was right. And that Tiffany now will have the thing where she will try, she'll side-eye her friendship with Nia. Always look for Nia to be, vulnerable and then feign that she's going to cash in. They'll have some little cutesy relationship with them. As you saw, she got the pink briefcase now. Shout out to Jason Solomonster, who actually said that right there was telltale sign that they're going to be selling that, and they are selling it so people could buy it. So they're going to keep it hot for a little while. So that was pretty smart catch on Jason's part, and that is the case. So I don't know what I know what happens with Tiffy and Nia from here, but Bailey, I'm not sure. I mean, she can't go back to it's so faction heavy right now. This company, everything is in a faction. I mean, literally, almost everyone is in a faction. I would say 75% of the roster. And I'm sure Balor is going to start up the Balor Club again with his new. Well, I'm not going to get ahead of this, but that's going to go down. I think there's going to be some new factions there. As you saw, Blair Davenport joined the Unholy Union. Yes. So there's things happening here. We're very faction heavy. Bailey can't survive, I don't think, on her own. So I get,
But she did so badly with the damage control, and that was a faction in itself too.
Right, that was keeping her down. If anything, we were like, okay, break free from that, and then you'll be back to the Bailey that we know and love. And you're right, she's getting the reactions, but She doesn't sell a lot of merch. She's not a merch movie. She's never in the top 10, hardly ever. Because I watch these things. I'm always curious, and I always with DT, like, who's top 10 this week? Like, we're looking at it and we'll see. And like I'll say, LA Knight always remains in the top 10. But Bailey's not a merch mover. So it's funny that she
Kev, why would anyone buy a Bailey shirt in this variation of the character now? Like, it's
but I'm saying, but
like, it's a dry character. It's a dry vag character. Like, it's not
but when
really
me and you went like when me and you went to the matches years ago, even as younger people who got the reaction, that was a line for their merch after the show. Warrior, the Bulldogs, Heart Foundation, like Savage. So I'm saying, if you're a top person, don't you guys agree it's weird that you're not a merch mover when you're a top person? It's kind of strange to me.
Marvin, what are your thoughts on where we go here with Bailey and Nia Jax?
Oh my goodness. Well, I know the one big takeaway, if we can look at these two super chats here, Jeff Collins for $5 said BBL Bailey versus BBW Nia Jax. So much ass in that ring. And the Drew Yari experience for $2 says, I still love Bailey's booty.
Oh, Drew.
What a perf. That's ridiculous.
Everybody's talking about the butts in the ring, but I'm gonna talk about the actual match itself. I thought it was underwhelming. I thought it was very slow. Nia was doing that thing that a lot of like bigger heels do when it's very clear they're going to get gassed if they go for too long, where they're not doing like slow offense. They're just doing like they hit and then they work the crowd or like saunter around the ring for like 10 seconds at a time, which I think works on an indie show. It doesn't work on SummerSlam. A lot of really weird, like butt related. I guess I'd say they were doing butt stuff, but like a lot of really weird butt related offense. And I agree with you guys. I thought Bailey as a heel was one of the greatest female heels we've ever seen. That Bailey heel character, when she cut her hair and she was doing like when they did the whole thing with her and Sasha, like it was just a fantastic character. They turned to babyface. You had the story with EO, you had the story with Damage Control. And then after that, it was exactly what everyone said was going to happen to Cody, but it didn't happen to Cody. It happened to Bailey. She won the title, and then it became, well, now what? And we saw now what. Now, but you know what? Now, the thing that I want to point out is you now have the Queen of the Ring and the King of the Ring both winning the title with the title shot that they won. Yes. And I thought the Queen of the Ring, with Queen Zelina being the only other queen we've ever had, the Queen of the Ring really needed this win to kind of prop up that tournament as being more prestigious. And now with both the Queen and King winning, that's a statistic that they're going to cite into next year.
Oh yeah, of course. They're going to use it. They love their stats.
Yeah, they love that shit.
Dirty Bird for $2 also said Nia gave Bailey pink eye.
I bet she did. Yeah. Got to get that checked out. But next match that we had on the card going past this, CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre with Seth Rollins as the special guest referee.
Hey!
Man, there's a lot to talk about with this match. Start off with you, Marvin. What were your thoughts going into this, and were you kind of surprised as to the way that everything landed?
I mean, look, Seth Rollins, I'm so cold on him right now. I call him Binky the Clown, like from Garfield and Friends.
He's awful.
Because he's just that annoying, like, hey, cat! Like, he's just constantly jumping out of nowhere and making noise, and the outfits are just like such a look at me thing. The match itself was awesome. Like, I thought the match itself was going so well. I thought there was a lot of such great intensity. I thought Punk looked better than I've seen him look in forever. Yes. I mean, he had clearly gotten back in the gym. Like you said, I think you said it during the watch-along, Mitch, his legs were like tree trunks. I mean, like, he came in there to win it. Drew was on top of his game. I just thought this feud is always cooked on all cylinders. Where they lost me was I thought that the bracelet was like a cool gimmick for like when the week that Drew attacked him, when all of a sudden, like, we're passing the bracelet back and forth to each other, like it's some MacGuffin in the third act of a Marvel movie, like it's the Infinity Gauntlet, and we're passing it like to make sure Thanos doesn't get it or whatever. Like, that was when the match kind of lost me, and when it went from being what I thought was match of the night to to just being a solid match with some elements that I didn't quite enjoy.
You know what the worst part is, though? The worst part is Drew still took the damn bracelet back at the end of the match.
I know. So nothing got accomplished from it.
Nothing.
And that means we're also not done with the damn bracelet.
And we're not done with Seth either. That means Seth is going to be more of a part of this too. Kevin Castle, what did you think after watching the the debacle of Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins.
Shades of 97. My brother will remember we were at SummerSlam 97, John, remember? With Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels refereeing in that match with Taker and Bret. And they were all enemies, and it was just who was going to turn on who and who was Shawn going to favor. Obviously, he hit Taker with the chair and Bret got the pin. I mean, it was a different kind of outcome, but similar to 97. Michael Cole brought it up too, buddy.
Shades of 97, Michael Cole said.
It was definitely. We were there. It's at some, so that's where Austin got dropped on his head by Owen.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm much more into CM Punk since he returned because I see his attitude change. I like seeing what I'm seeing with the younger people, his interactions with people. He is a different guy. I think you're a product of your surroundings. And if you're happy at work, you will that'll come off of you and that'll spill over. So I think he was really unhappy where he was. He came here. I don't think he's doing it as a fake thing. So I'm on board with CM Punk's character this time around and what he's doing now. He was kind of heelish in the match. It's weird. Like the three of them, Drew slaps hands with fans when he's coming down. It's very confusing. Like there's very gray area here with all these guys. Seth is clearly a babyface, right? Rollins?
Well, there was a break in the middle of that match when him and CM Punk were going after each other.
Right.
CM Punk went over there because he was wearing the actual bracelet. Seth started saying things. Obviously, you couldn't hear because he wasn't mic'd up, but the mics picked up on him anyways. And he's like, "We don't fucking need you here. We don't fucking want you here."
Yeah, I saw that part. Yeah, I saw that.
Right.
But when he said it's asshole, it's not always about you. Like,
right.
I love that when he said it's not about you, asshole. I love that.
Yeah, that was great. It was great. And Drew was just, a couple of years ago, I was just kind of done with Drew during the pandemic, and I kept hearing, "Oh, he carried the company." I'm like, he didn't carry the company. Everyone was doing the best they could under terrible conditions, playing in front of TV sets instead of people. I mean, everyone was doing the best they could. So whatever someone deserves or doesn't deserve, but Drew's character right now, I think, is the best it's ever been. I find myself sometimes wanting to cheer for Drew, but I'm Team Punk in this particular feud. Still am. But again, there was shades of. You're even seeing, like, is CM Punk really just losing it? Is he going to become a full-fledged heel? When Seth put on the bracelet and all that stuff, you're right. The three of them obviously hate each other. Seth is really the only clear-cut babyface according to the crowd. But CM Punk had to do the job tonight because he got over on Drew 3 different times. And you have to give Drew another comeuppance. Just dragging CM Punk through the back and dumping him all bloody, Drew's got to get a little bit more comeuppance than that. So he got the win tonight. And this will go to the Survivor Series. I think it'll end at Survivor Series in a Hell in a Cell, Steel Cage, War Games. I don't know if they're going to pick teams and stuff, but Drew and him will have probably 2 or 3 more matches. And they'll go to the extreme each time. Street fight, Hell in a Cell, whatever. And I think CM Punk will ultimately win the feud. But right now, Drew McIntyre won the battle tonight.
Kevin Apollo, gotta find out, what were your thoughts on the character development of CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Drew McIntyre in this match as far as the story goes?
Before I say that, what you do with Bailey is you send her home. Send her home for 6 months.
Yeah,
that's all I got. That's because the only thing left to
go
do
learn a new hold.
Bring back Ding Dong, hello Bailey. Outside of that, I love the fact that they teased the 97 finish with the chair shot, and they stopped it, and they weaved it back in. They rewarded you for being a longtime fan who could kind of see what was going on here.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I think if you listen to the crowd, Punk is more the baby face than Rollins. Rollins is a baby face, but Punk is the baby face. And for continuity's sake, Seth has been saying what he's been saying all the way before, the all out brawl.
Right.
When it's come to CM Punk, we don't want him here. We don't want you here. Blah 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 blah. So you have these 3 guys who hate each other. It's all combustible elements. The bit with the world's strongest charm bracelet was running a little thin, but at the end of the day, we all know that the big payoff is going to be AJ's going to come to the ring with Punk, probably at the Rumble or Mania, right? It's whenever we get the final blow off to whatever this is going to be. Personally,
but Kev, it's got his dog's name on it.
I know, I got you, but this is AJ. There is an AJ in there too.
That's not the important part.
Yeah.
I know you like that part, but it's they're gonna have to reward all their little weeb girls who still talk about AJ, and make it like AJ had this gigantic Trish Stratus-esque run when she was only really there for a cup of coffee.
True.
Yeah,
she did hold the butterfly belt for a really long time until Punk pissed enough people off with Mrs. John Cena, then had to defeat the record of Mrs. CM Punk.
I think a lot of the romanticism that comes with AJ is because at the time that she was champion, look who her opponents were. Look at the low quality of people that she was wrestling for the most part. Not everybody, but
not
lot.
Everybody. Yeah, I do think we are a little unfair to the butterfly belt era because Michelle McCool was there. Well, that's a discussion for another time. But I think listen, at the end of the day, whenever they decide to move the belt away from Gunther and Priest, because it's going to have to come back to one of these three at some point in time. The only way this can be paid off is to have them fighting for the world title when you get to Mania. And I personally think, depending on who's going to be the one winning it, I think really you should be putting it on Punk and having Rollins or Drew be the ones who take it off of Punk at Mania, in my opinion, instead of taking it.
John, what do you think? Where do we go from here? Do we have a CM Punk Seth face down, or do we continue the feud between Drew and CM Punk, or do we add all three into a three-way coming up?
I think there's a three-way dance coming. We haven't seen a good one in a long time. I enjoyed that match, but the bracelet being like the urn with Paul Bearer, like at this point, like it's a 75-cent charm bracelet. Like it literally like I have daughters. That's a 75-cent charm bracelet.
Timu special, yes.
Like they could have been like a locket or something. Like why didn't they make it something like a ring or a locket or something like that? It's like a charm bracelet you get out of a candy machine.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's just it can't mean that much. It can't mean that much. But that was a little douchey. That aspect of it gave me a little bit of a douche chill. The match was fine. I don't know about you guys, but nobody brought this up. But in my mind, I said after all this build up, when that bell rings, they better punch the fucking shit out of each other. That's what, and they did, and they fucking did, and the crowd was so into it. Punk looked great. He was treated like an A-list star. Seth is really. Yeah, I mean, he's a theme song. Like honestly, like it's not about ring work with that. They just the fucking retards just like to sing the song. That's really what the hell this is. Let's just call it what it is.
I have one final question about this though to move it along, and I know we'll get to super chats in a second. Real quick, obviously the big worry for a lot of podcasts, including our own, was the discussion of Punk's health. Punk looked great out there. I thought he looked like better than ever. Are we still worried about Punk sustaining an injury down the road, or is this something that we've kind of alleviated the fears of?
Got to keep an eye on it. That's all. You got to just keep an eye on it. Like anything else. Because you could say he's injury prone. Listen, 4 major injuries in 5 years. Wouldn't that be the definition of injury prone? Oh, and by the way, let me just say this: they're selling the replica bracelet on WWE.com for $137.
Oh wow!
I mean, really?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, I believe you. I was in on that one. I was like, I could totally see them doing it. With AJ and Larry on it. Oh my goodness,
Marvin! It was the way I said it. It was my cadence.
Like Michael Cole Monday would be like, now you could have AJ and Larry everywhere you go, fans.
Get the Larry the dog bracelet and take it to Jim Cornette's house.
Listen, Punk's a little older, but no older than Shawn Michaels when he made his big comeback. I think we saw in AEW a CM Punk who was more in it for the money and to pop himself. He wasn't working out. He wasn't training. He was not conditioned. And he paid the price for trying to do what he could do in his 20s, early 30s, without being warmed up, without being ready to go and primed, versus being a man in his 40s. We all go through it. We all go through it. You just forget that you're not that kid anymore. But this is a Punk who is, listen, even when he got to the Rumble, you could see he was physiologically different than what we saw him wrestling in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
A guy who's working out, he's putting in the time, he's putting in the effort. He's wrestling smarter, and he's also in a system that's very mindful of trying to keep people a little more healthy. And on top of that, they don't have. He's not doing the insane schedule they used to do. Like these guys aren't work. These guys are only working half the dates that they were working even just 4 years ago. So
yeah, they're home for part of the week now, which is insane to me.
Yeah,
so it's
insane in a good way.
Well, he's one of many. He's sharing the spotlight as one of many top guys instead of the top guy in AEW. You know what I'm saying?
But,
he can. They have enough top guys to spread it out. You know, like so we need him, but we don't need. So he can. If he stays at home, you know, we'll miss him, but nothing's going to really change. And when he comes back, he feels like he doesn't have that heavy load on his shoulders anymore.
We were saying on the watch along. I think I said like if he gets hurt one more time in the next 6 months, then that's it.
Yeah.
And Kevin Apollo, what you said that they need to like put up the Mike Tyson punch out game over.
Well, do you guys think that WWE is going to actually pay closer attention to his health, considering how he left the company last?
Yeah.
Well, they have a lot more. They have just as much invested in him now as they did back then.
True.
Like honestly, like he's a top merch seller. He's a headliner. You know what I mean? He's controversial. He gets them clicks when he talks. You know, people outside of the company want to hear what he has to say. They don't have a lot of guys. He's like the only guy like that. He's like a social media guy by not being on social media, but he's someone that people care a lot about. Like the thing he said about the people who talk shit about him or whatever, he goes, "Yeah, those are my biggest fans."
Oh, of course, yeah.
You know, it's so true.
It's hard to believe AEW picked Jack Perry over him.
Yeah,
I know. I just don't get. I mean, it's wild, man.
Hey, Jack Perry's a badass. He got blasted in the head with a steel chair and then was up for the finish and lit on fire and then was up for the finish. And
he looks way too much like Danny Masterson for me.
Yeah,
no, he really does.
Which is not a thing if you think about what they're.
I remember when Nicolas Cage made the September 11th World Trade Center movie. My father, I remember, said to me, he goes, "I hate this because Nicolas Cage in real life would be the first one running away from the building."
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about Jack Perry every time I see them give him these badass moments where I'm like, if Jack Perry actually got lit on fire, Jack Perry's done for the day. All right. Like he's not getting back up that day without the assistance of medical personnel. The fact that instead of making him the chicken shit heel that he should be after getting choked out by CM Punk and being like the scapegoat kind of guy, they're determined to make him this like I get knocked down and I get up again. Yeah, of course he wants that.
He wants it. That's why it was real glass. That's why it was a real shaved chair. Like this is all ways for him to stroke his own ego. He's
because nobody's content being Dominic Mysterio, the chicken shit heel that gets the biggest heel heat on the entire
but Marv,
roster.
Even calling him a scapegoat is a chicken shit heel thing to say. I'm the scapegoat. That's what a chicken shit heel would say. Duh. Like, you know, why aren't you playing more into that? Like, I would fight you, but I got better things to do. I'm a chicken shit heel. Like, instead, it's like, I'm tough. I know people on the internet say I got choked out, but I'm tough. Hit me with a chair. I'm tough. Anthony Masterson, I'm tough.
That will require a competent booker with balls to get his monkeys under control instead of letting these victim weight morons run around and play Bruce Willis in Die Hard. No one believes it. That's why no one watches your shitty show. With Punk, dude, he's in a totally different space. We're talking about. They're openly discussing how he's the heir apparent to NXT. You know, this isn't CM Punk 10 years ago. I have a stick up my ass and a chip on my shoulder. This is a guy who has found peace in being who he is. Again, he can go down and talk to Shawn Michaels because Shawn Michaels was the original heat seeker. Yeah. You know, so they can have conversations with each other that really only they can, because they see things a certain way. They live their lives as champions a certain way, and come hell, you know, and it was either come hell or high water. You know, they came through it on the other side. So, you know, Punk is happier, and because of what Punk did, it made things better for people there in the WWE. I think everybody's just in a different space, and when it comes to Punk, they're looking at long-term future in and out of the ring for him. If he wraps it up in 2 years, hey, guess what? NXT's on the CW October 1st. Shawn Michaels is going to need help, and eventually NXT will be back on the road. So who's gonna be Shawn's Dusty? You know, Hunter had a Dusty. Who's going to be Shawn's Dusty?
Next match we had up on the cards, gentlemen, is Gunther versus Damian Priest, singles match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Apollo, what were your thoughts going into this match?
I'm of two minds, right? I really like Damian Priest. I've known about him for a long time. Again, he's another guy I scream, good for you. He killed himself in the Indies. He killed himself on RH shows. People didn't give a shit about him, and he rose above it all. And the guy became a super popular a world champion. This match gave me everything we thought it was going to be. It was hard hitting. It was it told the story it needed to tell. I just really wasn't sure which way it was going to go. I was hoping we were going to see some kind of Finn Balor heel turn, but I wasn't sure if we were going to save it for Berlin.
No, we definitely saw it tonight. I mean, Finn Balor kind of made his intentions pretty clear by the end of the match.
Well, I was saying I didn't know if they were going to do it now or do it, do it later. But
I got you.
They did a great job of solidifying him as a baby face over these last 3.5 weeks because he was kind of stuck in the mud. They didn't know how to balance him being the obvious baby face while having him still lead the Judgment Day while Rio was gone. And they got the rhythm, they got it done. This is as a new champion, especially a champion who got it with the Money in the Bank. Usually, that first run is a bit of a disaster for most people, except for Edge. I think Priest kind of broke the curse, had a nice, strong, tiny run, and now that he's going to be on the chase, it'll be nice to see how and where they handle it. We got a lot of storytelling done in one big story. Again, cool stuff. It's just hard hitting fun. It kind of is what it is with that match.
Marvin, you were real excited about this match. I remember during the watch along, you said that this was probably the most surprising match for you of the night. You really enjoyed it. One of the big things that was obviously in contention, though, is Damian Priest being able to hold this character. Mm-hmm. As a heel, I always kind of felt that Damian Priest was lacking, but his natural personality that comes out through interviews and even the documentary clips and everything else like that, as a babyface, it just seems like that's who he is as a person. Yeah. As far as this match goes between Gunther and Damian Priest, and obviously now the Finn Balor issue turning on Damian Priest to begin with, where do you think we land? What did you think of the match, sir?
Real quick before we get into that, let me just get a couple super chats. Joe Punches for $1.99 says, so John, is Seth the great value version of Krusty?
Oh.
hey. Yeah. Yeah.
And John JID 999 for $1.99 says, I grew up in the 2010s. AJ has a nostalgia feel. My God, you're a zygote.
Yeah.
Yeah. AJ Lee is a nostalgia feel. And D74 for $2 says, this was my match of the night. I'm assuming he's talking about Priest and Gunther. So I'm going to say it was my match of the night as well. So going into this, I had no expectations for this match. I was kind of like cooled off on Damian Priest as a world champion. I was just kind of like, this is an experiment that I didn't think panned out. But going into this match, the couple weeks leading up to it, they really did a lot to change my perception of him and kind of bring him in as a babyface here. This was my favorite match of the night. I mean, look, Gunther came in like with some blood vessels in his chest, like pre-popped.
Yes.
But by the end of it, his chest is bleeding. I mean, this was a hoss fight. This was a hoss fight. They had when Damian Priest fighting from underneath, when they did the choke out, like checking the arm the 3 times, he had my favorite fight back I've ever seen of a babyface trying to like get out of the submission hold.
Yeah, no, he popped up. That was great. Yeah.
I loved the concept of him seeing the replay on the Tron and realizing what Finn did. I thought that was a brilliant touch with excellent camera work that captured exactly what we were supposed to see. And the Finn heel turn worked so everyone saw it coming from a mile away, but it worked so perfectly. It got the belt on Gunther where it needs to be because that guy is the future. And it sets up a lot of really interesting things for Damian Priest coming down the line because now you get to build him back up to that main event level as a babyface, and eventually, if all goes well, he can have the big title win as a face without the Money in the Bank. I never like when guys win their first world title with the Money in the Bank because I feel like it robs them of like a very big moment.
Well, he was also put in a weird situation because obviously CM Punk was injured and they kind of redistributed the storyline. So Damian Priest was put in a weird position with that. So it was almost as if when he got the title, it felt like, can this guy run with it? And for the first few months, man, what were they calling him? Bisexual Undertaker?
Yeah,
bisexual Undertaker.
Yeah,
right.
Weird.
He won me over tonight, though. He won me over tonight, and I've been wanting him to win me over. I root for Damian Priest just because I know a lot of people that knew him on the Indies, and everyone says he's such a great guy. And like what Kevin said, he worked so hard to remake himself. To be what WWE told him he had to be to get signed. He took the criticism, internalized it, and made it happen for himself. And I think that's the kind of, instead of doing like the Hangman Page where it's like nobody has anything, that they could possibly teach me because I'm perfect. Damian Priest was like, okay, I hear what you want and I'm going to make myself that.
Yeah.
And he's just an elite athlete now. And I'm rooting for him more than I've ever rooted for him before. I thought it was this is my match of the night, sleeper match of the night as well. Had no expectations and it blew me away.
John, did you feel like the change was needed for Damian Priest? Are you appreciating the new direction of a laid-back Damian Priest, or are we just kind of like going to move past him and just focus on Gunther from this point on?
I'm curious what happens to him now because, look, he's the guy. Look, 5 years ago, Punishment Martinez and Walter were wrestling in front of several hundred people, in a lot of cities, killing each other, for probably not a lot of money. And here you are 5 years later, both of them got in very good shape. Walter, completely changed his whole, physique to be a main eventer. Damian Priest, I'm still surprised that he actually had the belt. Like, from obviously they changed gears, like Marv said. I like this match quite a bit. I like their I like the chemistry there. They're both huge guys. You knew this was going to be a hoss fight. But, there's a couple of different stories going on at the same time. Gunther now having the belt. I mean, he's probably the wrestler of the year as far as I'm concerned. I don't think anybody's come close.
Wholeheartedly agree.
He's the wrestler of the fucking year, this guy. But also, I don't feel like Damian gets hurt by losing the belt. Yes, his title run, not memorable. Let's just be honest. It was a placeholder title run for him. I think he's going to get more out of not having that belt and being a babyface, not in a faction, than he was being in a faction, and being the second choice because CM Punk got hurt. This was my second favorite match of the night, but I enjoyed this quite a bit. I think Gunther is a beast. The upside with that guy is tremendous, and I can only imagine the response they're going to get when they go to Germany with this fucking guy. Like, honestly.
Kevin Castle, I know you were a big fan of Damian Priest, even though he's a Bronx guy. I know you're a big fan.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts of this match coming out of it?
I'm in the minority. I'm not a Gunther fan. I think he's okay. I mean, visually, he's all right. Promo, decent. But he's not big marquee. He's not big money. He'll be a big star in Germany, but I can't picture him on the marquee at MSG being a sellout. I mean, like, I just don't see it. If anything, I see him as a transitional champion because, as the other Kevin said here, there's bigger fish to fry for guys like Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Drew McIntyre, who quite honestly are bigger stars than Gunther now and probably going forward. I don't see Gunther surpassing any of those guys. Maybe neck and neck with Drew McIntyre. But
they were talking about his patchwork, his title run down in NXT, and obviously that was 800 plus days. And then they talked about his run with the IC title at 600.
I know. I mean, to me, though, like I said, he's a little vanilla bland for me, but he's okay. But we're talking about Damian Priest right now.
Okay.
Damian Priest, the last 3 weeks, I've even told you on the Soup shows, has impressed me. I went through a thing where I liked him. I didn't like him in Judgment Day. I kind of liked him before that, but he was trying to find his place. If you remember, they were all over the road with him. He was a babyface. He was a heel. He was talking to himself at one point. Remember that gimmick they gave him to?
Yeah.
Like where he was having a psychological breakdown. Like they didn't know what to do with him. And so for him to see him as world champion, as my brother said, a few years ago, Punishment Martinez, a low-end guy in Ring of Honor, even though he had their TV title. Big fucking deal. It's the equivalent of Crash Holly's belt. So I mean,
he had a TV belt, Kev, but they didn't have a TV show. So go figure.
Exactly. He was there during the down years. The decline with
the Matt Taven champion days. It was not good. Not good.
Yeah, exactly. So to see him now, and I can't wait, by the way, to watch his documentary. I'm going to catch it tomorrow afternoon, so I could talk about it tomorrow night on DTKC. He's become top 5 favorite of mine. But I knew, the Judgment Day was coming to an end. It had to come to an end. And then they added Carlito. I'm not even sure who's in the Judgment Day, to be honest with you right now. Is Carlito a member? Is JD McDonough ever actually an official member? I don't even know. They hang out together. I know that much. But the match itself was good. I'm not going to downplay Gunther's in-ring ability. He's fantastic. I think wrestler-wise, he's great. He can be Lou Thez, but I wasn't big on Lou Thez either as a character. So, I mean, he's a great wrestler. And, when you talk about Kurt Angle had personality. And, I mean, Kurt Angle just has personality and charisma for days. Maybe Gunther will have that. He's a serious character. He's still in that foreign menace kind of category for me, kind of what they wanted Miro to be when they first brought him up as a villain. But he's one of the best, no doubt about it. I will never dumb down his abilities. He's definitely top guy as far as ability goes, just like Dragunov. Dragunov's a top guy that way too, and will be. Even though he loses every week, he'll get there. But Priest, where he goes from here is obviously a feud with Finn Balor. There'll be faction breakup. Maybe Damian Priest will form a new faction, or he'll retain the Judgment Day. Dom, not Dom, but he'll have Rhea and maybe get somebody new. Get somebody to get a rub off of Damian Priest, what I'm saying? Get a new protege from NXT, one of those dudes. And I'm sure that now, what's his name is going to take Finn Balor is going to start the Balor Club, or maybe even Judgment Day. There's a lot to be determined the next two shows. But Priest, I think, with the documentary coming out tomorrow, I'll say this. I thought with that inspirational documentary coming out tomorrow, it would behoove them to keep the belt on Priest, and then let Gunther won it in Berlin, which is, I know he's Austrian, Germany, lateral move, like Jersey, New York. I mean, let's be honest. So it's, just to let him hold it another month, let the documentary sit with people, get him even more over as a babyface. So I'm kind of surprised they pulled the trigger, unless they want Gunther to do all this press.
Well, don't you expect
coming in as world champion when he's going to Germany, and coming in, he's got the belt on him. The aesthetic looks better that he's coming in as the champion instead of crowning him there. So it was probably a business move when you think about it, a real business move. But
all these moves are business moves. All these moves are
moves. Some of them are more calculated than others. You know what I'm saying? Some of them are more.
Kev, I have a feeling that special is about the journey, him getting, and then crescendo is him winning the belt.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. And also, and how to keep, and also the way he looks great now. I mean, every girl I know is like big on him. Like my 2 female co-hosts on my other podcast, Damian Priest is like the guy. So clearly he's getting female attention as well as male attention and stuff. And if you see what he looked like 7 years ago, it's like night and day. So he's very inspirational. And you're right, Mish. Something was missing there. They wanted to make him a bad guy and stuff, but you're right. His personality, his reputation, he's very CM Punkish. I know he likes to help out even the younger people who in NXT and stuff. He likes to hang around with people in the back. He tries to help out Caden Carter and Katana Chance. He's big on trying to help them out. So you're right, Mish. They're going to capture that with him, and he will be fine as a top babyface. Listen, they're very heel heavy right now. They need top babyfaces.
Well, that's what I was going to say when you were bringing up the Berlin stuff, because me and you we both talked about this on Wrestling Soup multiple times. But the idea of Gunther going into Berlin as a champion, I do agree with you. Lateral move, Austrian, etc. But it looks better for Damian Priest to get his rematch against the champion as the avenging babyface, as opposed to him holding it as this weird pseudo heel in a pseudo heel group that he's been working with. So I was very happy with the idea of Finn Balor finally pulling the trigger, Dominic Mysterio finally pulling the trigger, and obviously we're going to get separation storyline on Monday to kind of sort some of this out. And then now we're going to have Damian Priest going after Gunther, but clearly Finn Balor is going to be the catalyst between those two, because Finn Balor probably wants a shot at the championship as well as more shots.
But guys, there's one where does Carlito stand?
I'm actually more concerned
about
JD
McDonough. Where does JD McDonough's big head stand?
I'm still waiting for Tom and Nick Mysterio to show up. Those poor guys.
My God.
But main event time, Kevin Castle, everybody, Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa, Bloodlines rule match in the undisputed WWE Championship in the in the actual main event. Kevin, what did you think? Kevin Castle, thoughts on Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa?
Match started out slow. Solo is not a top guy. I never will see him as that. I mean, Jacob Fatu has completely outshined him in 4 weeks. And I knew I was holding firm that Reigns was going to make an appearance. And I was prepared almost when I heard Owens and Orton coming in. I'm like, maybe not. But I'm like, no, they could always run these guys off, and then Reigns can come in as the last guy. And that's exactly what it did. The match itself was kind of blah. Dare I say it was not one of my favorite matches, my favorite ending, but not one of my favorite matches. You had to know the bloodline rules. You knew they were going to come in and try to fuck up Cody and stuff. And props to Tonga Loa. He didn't fuck up in the 2 minutes that he was in the ring. So props to him. The eye patch is very becoming, by the way. I like the eye patch. I hope it's a regular thing. It reminds me of what's his name? The guy who's PCO, his old gimmick.
Yeah.
Carl Ouellet. Carl Ouellet, is that his name back in the day? The eye patch. But Reigns coming out was everything for me. I mean, I was waiting for this moment. Surprised to see no Heyman, because I know Heyman's been hanging out with him in Florida for the last few weeks. And him just walking out, and he got physical. That was the other thing, Mish. You remember we talked about on Wednesday. He's going to come out and stare down. No physicality, because they're not going to give you that just yet. But right. They gave you that. I was kind of surprised that Reigns not only gave you physicality, he put the 2 finishing moves, crowd pop big. He's not an official babyface. I saw everyone arguing about it. I thought, now Cody's number 2 babyface. No one said Reigns is a babyface, and he doesn't have to be a babyface. It could be 2 warring heel factions led by Paul Heyman is going to be on the other side. No one's turned babyface yet, so everybody's putting the cart before the horse as usual in the IWC. But they gave him a hero's welcome because they missed him because he was gone. They appreciated what he did. He's a record-breaking champ. He's a top guy, and he was missed. Let's be honest. Even people who don't like him missed him. Admittedly said to me, Kevin, I'm actually excited. I'm not even a fan, but I'm excited for his return. Yeah, because you're into wrestling and it's story and it's epic, and this is this part of the story. And now the Civil Wars, all these guys are into comic books and Marvel and the Civil Wars and all this stuff. Wrestling is now going to do that, and it all kind of plays into each other. And it's cinematic excitement. That's what it is. And I like that he laid out solo. I was very surprised at the physicality. I thought he was just going to come out with Heyman, do a stare down, and then go off the air. And that's not what they did. So I was definitely surprised. And he stared at Cody. He gave Cody the fucking stink eye. He's not a baby face. So everyone's not going to be kissing babies and saying suffer and succotash. He is the heel Reigns that you liked. He's not changing. He's only changing who he's focusing his anger and his feud on. That's the only thing that's changed.
Well, Marvin, just like the theme song of Tooney Town Wrestling, the enemy of my enemies pretty much was the theme song of this main event match. What were your thoughts on it, sir?
Yeah. By the way, real quick, our friend Travis Heckle from the Jim Cornette Experience was checking in. Just said, "Hey guys, Steak and Shake was freaking great. Thanks for the fun night. Gonna enjoy this wrap up from you guys. We're working on some Cornette art." So that is Travis Heckle, the thumbnail artist for the Jim Cornette Experience, who is a good friend of the show. Good to know you're watching, buddy, and thank you very much for sticking with us for the whole live watch along tonight. So yeah, this match, the match itself, I couldn't tell you a thing about it. Outside of the run-ins, I mean, I just remember sitting there, I'm like, okay, it's solid, but like I couldn't remember any like real good moments. The run-ins though were great. The you had with Tonga Loa with that eye patch, with a guy that already like messes up and drops people and does everything that he does. I don't know if taking depth away from him is a great idea, but you know what? Whatever. It looks badass. Having Owens and Orton come out was great because once they were gone with the GOD, then it set up the fact that like when Jacob comes out, who's there left to help Cody?
What about Jacob's leg injury? Is that
he's hurt?
They're saying it's real. That looked legit. So
they're saying it's real right now. I'm looking at on breaking news. They're analyzing a possible injury.
Wow.
Yeah. So hopefully that doesn't happen because that's going to screw up everything. Mm-hmm. I thought the Roman return was done about as well as it could be done. I've been saying, look back in the Suffer and Succotash era, I said the thing they have to, if you want people to cheer Roman Reigns, the way that they always wanted him to be a babyface, the thing you had to do with him was turn him heel, because that was the only thing that was going to make him cool enough where people would stop being like, this is the guy that Vince McMahon is shoving down our throats, to be, wow, this guy's a legitimate star, a legitimate badass. And that's what we saw. I mean, he hit the nicest spear I think I've ever seen on Solo Sikoa. Like, it was gorgeous. And I love that stare down between him and Cody at the end. I mean, it was I'm trying to think of like something I can compare it to. Of just like the two enemies, like it's like Venom and it's Venom and Spider-Man. Yeah, it was like Venom and Spider-Man teaming up to fight Carnage. You know, it was like I don't like you, but I think you also saw the begrudging respect between the two of them.
Right.
I mean, I think the one thing we're all overlooking though is Arn Anderson in the back before Cody came out in his Skeletor helmet.
Yes.
I loved that. I was like, oh, thank you for bringing him back. I'm wondering if Brock Anderson is going to be coming back now too. I think that the Bloodline Civil War, I mean, it's going to be the big storyline of the next year. I don't think you bring The Rock into it until post Survivor Series, until post War Games. I think Solo is the big opponent up until then, and then once that happens, then the High Chief comes in to combat the Tribal Chief for control, and that's where we're going to go into WrestleMania or whatever we're going to do for that. Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, the match itself was solid. After the intensity of Damian Priest and Gunther, and I can't believe I'm saying this. After Damian Priest and Gunther, there wasn't a lot that stood out to me in the match itself. We didn't see any Usos, and for that, I am eternally grateful.
John, what did you think of the match, sir?
Well, look, it had a big feel to it, right? It's not a memorable match. Solo's just not good enough. I don't know how this is even a thing. He's very bland. He's just not. He's not. I don't know. It's just something about him. You can't get into the character. You don't believe. He's a convincing heel. The thing that I find strange is, so just by their own sort of bloodline, like made up, hierarchy there, the fact that Roman came back and beat up Solo. Shouldn't the GOD guys now be with Roman because you know what I mean? Like he humiliated Solo.
He felt weak. Yeah, he felt weak.
Like he weakened Solo. It's like, this is the guy you were going to follow over me. Like by that alone, he should get all of his heat back, and there shouldn't be a civil war. Solo should just get pieced out, or Solo goes with the Usos. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm just saying, like Solo showed tonight that he was weak. And the other two, the other cousins or whatever should be like,
that's a good take. That's a good take. That's a good take.
Yeah, just like that was just my interpretation of it. Maybe they made Solo look too weak. I'm curious where this goes, but it does. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It already feels a little exhausting. Like these guys are gonna dominate the top of all the cards now, and it's like, what are all these people gonna do? Just watch? Like, there's so many other. It's such a large roster. I mean, it's going to be Us on Us crime,
right?
But I don't know. I don't know, because I forgot about The Rock until Marv brought that up, and I'm like, oh fuck, I forgot The Rock. And don't they have a couple of other cousins possibly?
Yeah, Nicoleo and somebody else, right?
At this point, it's just like a family party, like every show, and it's just like, I don't know. Like I get bored with it quick. It's good, but also like some of the GOD guys are sloppy. Like they're not used to being at this level with this many people. Like maybe Japan a couple of times, okay, but like not in stateside. You know what I mean? This is like, I don't think I just feel like a bunch of these players are not good enough to be in this circumstance. That's all.
Apollo, we had a great conversation during the watch along talking about the value of Solo Sikoa in this role as the chief. And your statements at the time were basically the reason that he's kind of a failure is because that's the way that the storyline is written. That's where we call in Roman Reigns to right the wrongs. Now, after seeing everything go down the way it has tonight, do you still feel the same way about the direction of the bloodline and now standing with Cody Rhodes and obviously Orton and Kevin Owens, etc.?
Yeah, listen, the key to the story is keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid, right? The Roman is babyface. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Because you can't confuse the audience. They've been begging for Roman. They want Roman. Solo hijacked control. It wasn't given to him. They put Heyman through the table. They're extra violent, but they're sloppy. It's a classic case of, yeah, kid, the seat's going to be yours eventually, but you need experience. And they're inexperienced. They're not going about it the right way.
Right.
Roman has been away, And now that Roman is back, he's going to go to set it right. And what's going to happen is, because the Solo's excuse is going to be, you chose Cody over me. I'm not weak. You're weak because you're jealous. Which will in turn get the Tongans to stay with him.
Right.
And then they're going to go whoop Roman's ass. And because Paul hasn't been seen, that it frees up the ability for Paul to summon Jimmy to come to Roman's aid. Roman's got to be in trouble. You know, again, the key to being a successful babyface is always sympathy. So it's either Roman's going to be in trouble, and it's going to be an avenue to bring back Jimmy, and then it'll turn into, okay, well, how do we get back Jay?
And
that'll probably be where Sammy comes in. And then once you get Sammy, then you get Jay, and now the OG bloodline is back together again to put down the young pups who don't know any better yet. You got to think of it like you're watching a National Geographic, and the young lions are getting a little too uppity, and the old lions got to put them back in their place.
Thank you, Jerry Lawler.
You know, that's where this story is going. And at the end of the day, when Roman finally gets his hands on Solo, Solo's gonna have to, Roman's gonna be, who told you to do this? And Solo's gonna go, you're the tribal chief, but you're not the high chief. And then the final boss is back, and we know The Rock wants his match with Roman, and what The Rock wants, The Rock gets. So there's no doubt that this story is leading to Roman versus The Rock. / I don't care how good Dwayne's doctors are. He's closer to 60 than he is to 50.
Right.
We got to get this match happening within the next 2 years, or it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's definitely got to happen.
And Reigns, you guys feel Reigns will be the babyface in that feud, right?
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
Big time. I think The Rock really is digging the whole final boss persona. I don't think that's going away anytime soon. And you still got to do Rock and Cody at some point. They've set it up.
That's right. They have to have that match too.
They can't just let that dangle and fade out. I'm seeing some people say that Jacob Fatu was helped to the back, but other people are surmising that maybe it was not a legitimate injury. It was a way to take Jacob out, wherein Roman didn't have to bump him.
We'll find out soon enough.
It's interesting because he did bang his leg on that corner on the replay. If you see, he did hit his leg.
Right.
Yeah. I saw that he's legit hurt. Like people were saying he's legit hurt. But
I guess we'll find out Monday. Yeah.
So, I mean, overall, I agree with you guys. The match itself was kind of static at best. You know, there wasn't really any standout moments where Solo Sikoa was really having control over Cody or vice versa. It felt like as soon as there was the first sign of trouble, though, for Solo, that's when everybody started gang rushing the ring, and we started getting cameos from everybody from the outside. As far as the moment between Roman and Cody, the little nod that went back and forth, absolutely, this looks like the future of what we're seeing. Avengers Assemble, however you want to call it, and that's going to be the definition going down the road into Survivor Series, and then definitely going into the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. I don't think this is stopping anytime soon. But real quick, end of the night, favorite match, least favorite match, overall letter grade. What did you think, Marvin?
Favorite match of the night, that's got to go to, I would say, Gunther and Damian Priest. Least favorite was Nia and Bailey. And as far as a letter grade for the whole show, I mean, yes. I would honestly give this show the lowest would be a B+ and I would even go as high as an A-.
Very good. Kevin Apollo, thoughts? Favorite, least favorite, overall grade?
Yeah, I think it was a solid A. I think it's a solid A. The weakest match was Bailey Nia, and that's that was still a pretty decent match. And I think my favorite match was probably Rhea and Liv. I really like that story. They tore it up.
Absolutely. Mr. Jon Draper, favorite, least favorite overall?
My favorite match was the Priest Walter match. I like Walter matches. I find myself, I feel like they're very rewatchable, right? Although the main was a little dry. I don't think the main was good. The Bailey Nia just didn't need to be there. It just didn't been a pre-show. That could have been a Full Sail, simulcasted. I'm going to give this a B only because like a B minus ish, because the main was built around Roman walking in and the run-ins. The match itself for a main event was not a very the match was
Right.
not good. Like, you know what I mean? There wasn't a lot of good stuff there. But it was a solid show. I mean, I think the crowd was
Yeah,
great.
Bees are great.
You know, yeah, the crowd was wonderful. They were very supportive. They didn't check out. You know, they really did check out. You know, but I'm curious. You know, honestly, I'm very curious about where a lot of these stories go, and I think that that's what makes it a successful show.
Kevin Castle, thoughts?
Least favorite match, I agree with all you guys, was Nia and Bailey. Absolutely least favorite. And it's sad, that's for a world title too. It was my least favorite match. Favorite match, I'll agree with Kevin Apollo too, and I think Mish, you'll probably say this. The first match, Rhea and Liv Morgan. I enjoyed it. Just felt right off the bat. I felt kind of enthralled into the premium live event. Usually it takes a couple of matches for me to get warmed up to it, but right off the bat, because and I was looking for the Dom turn, and it did happen, but the way it went down, and you're right, and Rhea did carry Liv to a degree, but it's really interesting to see. If years ago, if you told me out of the Riot Squad, Liv was going to be the world champion breakout star, I would have been like, really?
Yeah.
She's the cutie pie. She's not, right, guys. She's not the Ruby Riot's going to be the big star. Boy, were we wrong there. But yeah, I mean, Liv pulled her weight, and it's a great story, and the story continues, and it's gonna, a must-see Raw on Monday night, no doubt, as well as a must-see SmackDown, which is what I loved about this pay-per-view. Overall grade, I'm gonna give it an A minus. I really liked it. I would be shocked to see any podcast shit all over it, or anybody, whether they're a veteran, a newcomer, or anybody just looking to get clicks. You would have to really be bullshitting yourself to say it wasn't a good premium live event. It was good. It was good. A minus. I'm looking forward to the day to give a WWE premium live event an A plus, but I'll go A minus, man. That's the highest grade I've given one of their premium live events in quite a while.
Clean sweep from me as well. Nia Jax and Bailey, the least favorite match of the card, even with the idea of Tiffy possibly cashing in, really didn't do it for me. There was just nothing in this, and Bailey looking like extra large Statue of Liberty didn't help. Favorite match though, I have to go along with Kevin Apollo and a few others. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley absolutely nailed it out of the park. Dominic Mysterio has been running this storyline as a babyface for the last few weeks, which was fun to watch because he was completely booed out of the building as a heel. But the way that they structured everything, Dominic was an innocent victim, and now we came to the point that now Dominic was a scumbag all along. Rhea Ripley's faces sold it for me. The actual match itself was fine. Rhea Ripley carried it as we expected her to do, and she made Liv Morgan look good, and the win matters. It's going to drive storylines for this for at least the next few months. I'd have to overall say give it an A.
Nice.
B plus, but mainly an A. There's more than a few matches on here that are absolutely rewatchable. Even if you weren't a big fan of the match itself, the storyline matters. This is going to be a pivotal moment that leads us all the way into WrestleMania based upon the wins and losses. Matter of fact, every single match on here was a championship match except for CM Punk and Drew.
Yeah,
that mattered so much too in the vein of things to come as well. So overall, fantastic night. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much, Marvin and Apollo, for allowing us to broadcast on with you and Tooney Talk Wrestling, sir.
Oh, we are pleased to have you, man. This was such a fun night. We're going to be doing these watch-alongs a lot more, and if you guys ever want to do the post-show simulcast again, this was a blast. It was a great way to kind of digest what we just saw and kind of present it in a more
public fashion.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We had more than 200 people in our chat live on Discord, and I saw that you had around 2 something here live on the YouTube as well. So
nice.
Fantastic numbers. I hope everybody had a fantastic time. Speaking for myself, obviously you guys can check out Wrestling Soup at Wrestling Soup on X or on Facebook as well. Our business page, we have that up. Or go to WrestlingSoup.com for back episodes, Patreon.com/Wrestling Soup to catch up on all the Frank and Gus's extras with myself and Kevin Castle and Joey Numbers. Also, make sure to check out Patreon.com/Don Tony D to check out Kevin Castle's episodes, along with Don Tony and Trez doing the Castle Chronicles. And then, of course, you got on Twitter at KevZCastle, or on X Twitter. I'm still stuck in between the two. But you also have Jon Draper with Spitball Media, of course. And you can find Jon Draper at I Am Jon Draper on X, as well as patreon.com/Spitball Media and the Spitball Media X account as well. So I don't think I left anything off. Did I, boys?
No. You were good. I would just want to say thank you, Marvin. Thank you, Kevin Apollo, Mish.
Yes.
Always.
Thank you.
And thank you to my brother. Good takes from everybody tonight. I'm actually blown away. All you guys made great takes.
You know what, though? Honestly, it was a good
some
show.
of my own takes. You know,
but it was a good show. Like, it was a little long, but it was too long. But it was a good show. I mean, when it's a good show, you get good takes.
Tomorrow for AEW, right, guys? Like,
we are going to do. We decided we're doing a live watch along for All In. So
when you do AEW, don't hit me up. I gotta go, guys. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you very much, guys.
All right, good night, guys.
And thank you to everybody who super chatted tonight. It was a huge help. You guys made this our most successful stream to date. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe over here at Tooneytown Wrestling. Also check out Tooneytown TV here on YouTube, where Kevin Apollo and I are also live streaming every Thursday night at 8 p.m. for Tooney Talk TV, where we talk movies and comics and TV shows and all that other great stuff. And check out That Game Place, That Pod Place gaming channel, where I'm a regular host. And of course, patreon.com/Tooneytown Wrestling for more exclusive content, including, watching along with some AEW stuff that I've been reacting to lately and more stuff coming on the way. What was that, Mish?
Also, don't forget to join the Tooney Talk Wrestling Discord and the Wrestling Soup Discord. You can find the links through WrestlingSoup.com, and you can also find the links on, I believe, Awful and Dis's page.
Dis has the AEW. Dis has the Tooneytown Wrestling Discord information on his on his Twitter account.
You got to get more people on there, dude. You guys got a lot of topics and stuff. It's a good.
We do, yeah. It's a great. We put together a great community on there. I'm very, very happy with it. So it's definitely growing pretty well.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. I love doing these. I'm glad that we had another chance to do the crossover. This is the very first time we've done the dual cast, and it's been a long time since Joe and I did an actual YouTube and a Discord stream at the same time. But I'm glad everybody had fun. Seems like everybody in the chat room had a great time. Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for supporting the shows. I very much appreciate it humbly. So thank you guys.
Yeah, and for all of us here at both Wrestling Soup and Tooneytown Wrestling, I'm Marvin the Movie Monster. Now get out of here!